All right, we're going to take a quick look at managing, adding, creating users on your website. Under your quick links, or sorry, your shortcuts, you'll find add user and find user. You can also find it under people. So under people, we can see a list of all the individuals that have created accounts or you've created accounts on their website. You can see what their display name is, or if they haven't set up a display name, they'll just show their username, whether or not they're active or inactive or blocked, what roles they have, contributor, editor, administrator, kind of the basic roles that we have set up already on the website. Yours might have some more options, and of course those will be explained to you individually, but to understand the different levels, there's an administrator level, which is kind of our IT, managing your Drupal website level administration, and then the next level would be editor, and if we were talking about hierarchy, editor level would be pretty much all the admin functions that you would need to manage your website's content, as well as website information, say the site name or the copyright information, that sort of thing. And then a contributor would be somebody who's just helping, say, a staff member that is helping add content and edit content, but doesn't have the ability to, say, change the site name. So you can provide different roles for each user. And then of course there's no role, which is just an individual that has created an account on the website, say to post comments, subscribe to a newsletter, post a forum thread, whatever, depending on what features you have in your website. So there's just kind of a what we call an authenticated user. With no role other than authenticated, whatever comes with that role. And the roles, the permissions that are managed through that, managed for each role, are managed at our level, at the administrator level, not at the editor level, although you can assign, as an editor, you can assign other roles, other editors, and other contributors. Looking back up here, we can show that we can start to filter our users by what role they have. We can filter by what permissions they have, and again, these are more or less handled at our level on what permissions each role gets, but you can kind of see who has the ability to access certain levels on your website. And then of course if their status, if they're active or blocked. And then you have bulk update options so that you can block selected users. So say from accessing the website, so say there was somebody that was spamming your website with comments, or someone that was making obscene comments in your forum threads or whatever, you can then block them. You can also cancel their accounts completely and delete them, but blocking them is something that obviously temporarily you'd like them to not be able to access your website, so you either talk to that individual or kind of source what's happening there. You can just block them temporarily. Update their alias. You don't need to worry about that, as the system handles it automatically. Alias is what appears here in the URL. So for a user, it would be, let's just open up a new, let's go just to our page here. You can see that there's a user. You can see the user information, so there's users Pixel Sweatshop. So that it takes the name, their display name, and adds it to the URL, which is nice. There's also the ability to add roles to selected users. There's an editor, contributor, of course, as a basic level, and then remove certain roles. So we can see that Bob has created an account on the site, and we want Bob, because he's a staff member, to be a contributor on the website. We're going to click update, and the contributor role then gets added to the system. You can see now Bob's a contributor. Now he can add and edit content, but can't edit, say, the site information or the site name or anything like that. We can also see, we can also start to remove that role or delete Bob quite easily, removing that information for him. We can also then start to add users from here. So we'll just click add users. And it's pretty straightforward. You can give them a username, an email address, provide them with a password, and whether or not they're active or blocked, and we talked about that earlier. And then notify user of account. This is important. So if Bob didn't create his account automatically by himself, you can then create it for him, and then Bob would then be emailed with how to log in and his user information, his username and password. And then you can also give him a role. You can have multiple roles, but I mean, with the basic level roles, you probably don't want to have an editor and contributor, they're one or the other. And then Bob can have a display name. You can add Bob's display name in there. Nice and handy when you're posting, say, blog posts. You don't want Bob's username as Bob Rules. You want Bob's full name as, you know, Bob Jones or Bob Smith or whatever it is. So creating that, these options for him, it'll automatically be emailed to him. So then we can go back and list, and then after we've created it, we can see that Bob, or say our new employee Sarah, just got an account on the website, and then Sarah will be listed here. And of course you can see the last time they have accessed, or if they've ever logged in before. And users themselves can start to manage their own passwords, you know, once going into their account. So let's just go into our account. We can see, you know, once we log in, if we've created an account for Bob, and Bob doesn't like the password that was automatically assigned to him, he can go in and edit his password information by putting in his current password and adding his new password in there. And as also what happens quite commonly for users is that they forget their passwords or their usernames, and it happens more often than we would like. So we try to make it as easy as possible for an individual to be able to access their site. So let's just go into our login area here. This is as we're logged out. You can see that there's create new account, login, request new password, and plus we've also added a secondary help, what's my password, or create an account, as kind of a second opportunity to get them to kind of manage this themselves. And just by help, what's my password, by clicking on that, they can then add in their username or their email address and have it automatically sent to them. And it's very common that these emails end up in spam boxes just because of the nature that they're being sent from the website rather than an email system that they're sometimes not authenticated and they're considered spam. So telling your users to check their spam folders or their junk mail for that information, and they can resend the information if as needed. So managing users can kind of get time consuming if you have a lot of users on your website, especially with staff and that sort of thing that need kind of reminders on how to manage their accounts, reset their passwords or create accounts and that sort of thing. So spending some time to understand this area is probably pretty helpful. And anyways, thank you very much for watching.